I honestly don't even know where to start because what I found out shattered me so completely it feels like my world is crumbling. My name's Jake, and I was with my wife, Emily, for about 5 years now. We got married 3 years ago, and I genuinely thought we had a good thing going. We weren't perfect, but I believed she was loyal, honest, and committed to us. That was until everything started falling apart the week after my mom died. My mom passed away suddenly and it hit me like a freight train. I was devastated, crying for days, trying to hold it together for her funeral. Emily was supposed to be there for me, but something changed in her during that time. She became increasingly distant, evasive even when I tried to talk to her. She'd snap at me, call me moody, or say she just needed space. At first I thought it was grief, and honestly I was in no place to judge. But then I started noticing small things that didn't add up. She'd go out for coffee with her friends but come back looking guilty. Her phone started buzzing late at night, and she insisted it was just work stuff or her sister calling. Still, I'd catch her sneaking around, deleting messages or rushing to hide her phone whenever I entered the room. She kept telling me I was overreacting, that I was stressed out because of my mom's death. I wanted to believe her, I really did, but deep down, I felt a gnawing suspicion. Something wasn't right. One day, I decided to look at her phone while she was in the shower. I know that's invasive, but I felt like I was losing my mind and needed to find some truth. I found a message thread with some guy named Chris. At first, I didn't think much of it, just some casual chatting maybe. But then I started reading more. The messages weren't innocent. They were flirty, suggestive, talking about meeting up. My stomach dropped. My wife, my best friend, the woman I trusted more than anyone, was having sex with someone else. I saw pictures of her in a hotel room, her lips on his neck, her hands on his chest. The messages made it clear she'd been sleeping with him just days after my mother's funeral. I couldn't breathe. My mind was racing. How long has this been going on? Why did she lie to me? How could she betray me so blatantly after everything I'd been through? It was like the worst punch to the gut I'd ever taken. I closed the phone, trembling, and my hands felt numb. I couldn't even cry. I just stood there, staring at the screen, trying to process this tsunami of betrayal. I knew I had to confront her, but I didn't know what I'd say or how I'd handle it. All I knew was that my marriage was over, and my trust in her was completely shattered. The moment I decided I couldn't keep quiet anymore, I told myself I'd confront her that night. I was pissed off, heartbroken, and honestly just numb. When Emily got home from work, I was already waiting in the living room, her phone in my hand. She looked surprised to see me sitting there, and for a second, I saw that fake little smile she always threw out when she knew she was hiding something. "Hey, babe," she said, trying to sound casual, but her voice cracked just a little. I didn't say anything right away. Instead, I just held up the phone with the message thread on the screen. Her face went pale and then instantly defensive. She tried to brush past me, but I blocked her way. "Who the hell is Chris?" I asked, voice trembling with anger. Her eyes darted away and she played innocent, acting like she didn't know what I was talking about. "Chris? Oh, it's nothing, Jake, just some guy from work. It's nothing serious, I swear." She laughed nervously, trying to brush it off, but I wasn't buying it. "Nothing serious? Are you kidding me? She's been sleeping with him, Emily. Just days after my mom died, you're out fucking some guy behind my back. How stupid do you think I am?" I wasn't even trying to hold back anymore. Every word felt like a punch to the gut, but I needed her to understand how deeply she'd betrayed me. She looked stunned for a second, then started with the usual bullshit. "Look, Jake, I was lonely. I needed someone to talk to. It didn't mean anything. We're just having sex, that's all. It's not like I love him or anything." Her voice was cold, detached, like she was reading off a script designed to justify her actions. I wanted to scream at her, to shake her and make her see how much she was hurting me. But I just stared at her, feeling this strange mix of rage and sadness. I told her I knew everything, about the messages, the hotel pictures, the lies, and that I couldn't trust her anymore. I told her I needed to think, needed to breathe, because I'd just lost my mother and now I was losing my wife too. Sneered, trying to act like she was the victim, like I was overreacting. "You're crazy. I never wanted to hurt you. I just needed some excitement, Jake. You were so distant, so cold after your mom died. I didn't know what to do." That was her go-to excuse. It didn't matter what she said after that. Nothing could undo what I saw, what I felt. I felt so betrayed, so crushed that I could barely speak. I told her she could leave, that I didn't want to see her face again, that I was done. She argued, of course, said she loved me, that it was just a mistake, that she'd stop, but I knew better. I knew her lies, her manipulations, and the fact that she'd been lying to me right in my face for weeks, maybe longer. The thing that hurt most wasn't even the sex, though that was a huge part. It was how she lied so effortlessly. How she looked me in the eye and denied everything when I had proof right there in her phone. It made me realize how fragile trust really is and how much I'd been blind. I thought I knew her. I thought I knew us. But step by step, everything was crumbling and there was no way back from this. Not anymore. After that night, everything changed. I slept on the couch trying to process what I'd just learned, but my mind wouldn't shut off. Every moment I'd shared with Emily suddenly felt like a lie. Every laugh, every silent glance, every "I love you" she threw my way felt hollow now. I kept thinking about her with that smug expression, lying so effortlessly to my face. How long had she been doing this? Did she ever really love me? Or was I just fooling myself the entire time? The next day I started noticing more signs. Her phone kept ringing at odd hours, and she was quick to dismiss calls. She'd disappear into the bathroom or the bedroom for long stretches, and when I'd ask her what she was doing, she'd brush me off or get defensive. I caught her deleting messages again, and I realized she was trying to cover her tracks better. That just made me angrier. How could someone I loved so much be capable of lying so blatantly? How could she sleep with my best friend, Chris, and then turn around and act like nothing was wrong? I decided I had to confront her again. I couldn't let her keep lying. I needed answers, even if I already knew the truth deep down. So I called her out in the morning, standing in the kitchen with her coffee in hand. I told her I knew about her affair, that I'd seen everything, every message, every photo. Her face twisted in a look of pure contempt, like I was the one in the wrong. She snapped back, accusing me of being paranoid, of accusing her unjustly. She kept saying she loved me, that it was just a stupid mistake, that she was sorry for what? For sleeping with my best friend, for ruining everything I thought we had. It was a whirlwind of emotions, anger, sadness, disappointment. But mostly I felt betrayal so deep I couldn't breathe. How did she think she could lie to me all this time? How could she betray me after everything I'd been through? It was like she didn't care about me at all, like I was just some obstacle in her life she could lie to and cheat with. I told her I wanted her gone, that I couldn't see her anymore, that I needed space to think about how I was going to fix this mess. She threw a fit, crying, saying she loved me, that she'd stop seeing Chris, that she'd change. But I knew better. I knew that her words were just manipulation. She was all about saving her own skin, not about fixing what she broke. And honestly, I didn't want to hear her lies anymore. I was done. I needed to leave, to get away from her, to figure out how to pick up the pieces of my shattered life. That night, I packed a bag and stayed at a friend's place. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. The trust I had in her was gone, completely evaporated. How do you come back from something like this? How do you even begin to rebuild what's broken when the person who promised to be there for you turned out to be your biggest betrayal? I kept replaying everything I'd seen and heard, trying to find some way to make sense of it all. But honestly, I just felt exhausted, drained, betrayed, and more alone than I ever thought possible. The next few days were a blur. I stayed with my friend Mark, who's known me since college, and he kept telling me I needed to think about what I wanted to do. Honestly, I didn't want to do anything right away. I just sat there, replaying everything in my head, trying to make sense of how the woman I loved could do this to me. I kept asking myself if I'd missed signs, if I'd been blind or just naive. But deep down, I knew the truth. I'd given her everything, and she'd thrown it all away for some stupid sex with Chris. I kept thinking about how she lied to my face, how she pretended to care, how she played the victim when I found her out. That bitchy smirk she had when she told me it was just stupid mistakes made me furious. I realized she had been lying to me for weeks, maybe longer. She'd been sneaking around, hiding her phone, deleting messages, and I'd been so blind, so willing to believe she was just stressed, just grieving. But she was cheating. sleeping with my best friend and trying to act like it wasn't a big deal. That was the part that cut deepest. Her arrogance, her lies, the way she thought she could get away with it all. I decided I needed to see her again face to face to get some closure. I told her I wanted to talk, just me and her, so she came over that evening. The moment I saw her, I could tell she was trying to act like everything was normal, like she hadn't just done something horrible. Her bitchy attitude was still there, that sharp edge in her words, but I could also see guilt flickering underneath. She tried to deny everything again, claiming I was crazy, that I was just overreacting because I was still mourning my mom. I didn't buy her bullshit anymore. I let her speak, but every excuse she threw out just made me more angry. She said she loved me, that she didn't want to lose us, but I knew better. I knew her true colors now. She had no remorse, no real apology, just more lies and manipulation. I told her I didn't want to be with her anymore, that I'd never trust her again, that she had to leave. Her face twisted in anger and frustration, but I didn't care. I was beyond caring at that point. That night she left, slamming the door behind her, and I finally felt a tiny bit of relief. But the pain was still there, gnawing at me. I kept asking myself, how did I get here? How did the woman I trusted so blindly turn into someone capable of this betrayal? I replayed everything, every moment I missed, every sign I ignored, and realized that trust, once broken, is almost impossible to repair. I had lost my wife, my best friend, and most of all, my sense of security. It's like I'd been walking blind for so long, and now I was just left with the wreckage. That night I laid awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling empty. I knew I'd have to rebuild my life from scratch, but I also knew I'd never forget what she did. The betrayal cut so deep I wasn't sure I'd ever fully recover. All I could do now was try to move forward, one day at a time, and hope that someday I'd find someone who wouldn't lie to me like that. The days that followed were some of the hardest I've ever experienced. I kept replaying everything, trying to find some kind of closure, some reason, some explanation that could make it all okay. But there was nothing, just a deep, gnawing emptiness. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and honestly like I'd been an idiot for trusting her in the first place. Every time I thought about her face, those lies she told, her sneering tone when she justified sleeping with Chris, my stomach clenched with anger. I couldn't believe I'd been so naive, so blind. I started going to therapy just to get some clarity on my feelings. Sitting there, spilling everything out to a stranger who didn't know any of us, helped me realize how much I'd been suppressing and how deeply I'd been hurt. All those messages, all those lies, they weren't just about infidelity. They were about the betrayal of everything I believed in, everything I thought we had. I kept questioning myself. Did I do something wrong? Was I not enough? But deep down, I knew none of that mattered. She chose to cheat, she chose to lie, and I couldn't fix that. One night, I decided I needed to confront her one last time, just to hear her say it out loud, her betrayal, her truth. I reached out to her, told her I wanted to meet. She showed up at my place looking defiant, bitchy even. She tried to play the victim again, crying that she was sorry, that she loved me, that she was weak. I just stared at her, feeling numb. She said she made a mistake, that she was confused, that she didn't mean for it to happen. I asked her why she lied, why she thought she could disrespect me and get away with it. Her excuses were empty. I didn't want to lose you. I was lonely. It was just sex. But I knew none of that mattered anymore, not to me. I told her I couldn't forgive her, not now, not ever, that her lies had sealed our fate. I said I needed to get out of this relationship, to start healing and rebuilding from the wreckage. She begged, of course, tried to guilt-trip me, said she'd do anything to fix it, but I wasn't buying it. I just wanted her gone. I told her she had to leave, that I didn't want to see her again, and that I was done. Her face crumpled for a second, almost like she was surprised I was strong enough to push her away, but she left, and I felt a strange mix of relief and devastation all at once. That night I sat alone in my apartment, staring at the empty space where she used to be. It was quiet, too quiet. I kept thinking about everything I'd lost, my wife, my trust, my sense of safety. The pain was still there, but somehow I knew it was the start of something new. I had to rebuild my life, piece by piece, even if it felt impossible right now. I'd been through hell, and I knew the scars would stay, but I also knew I had to move forward. I had to find a way to forgive myself for trusting her, and maybe, someday, trust someone again. But for now, I just had to survive this heartbreak and learn how to live with the betrayal I never saw coming. It's been a few weeks now since I kicked her out, and honestly, I'm still trying to put all the pieces together. The ache of betrayal doesn't go away overnight, and some days are worse than others. I keep asking myself how someone I loved so much could turn into a stranger so fast. The worst part isn't just the sex, though that crushed me. It's the fact that I trusted her, and she used that trust to lie, cheat, and manipulate me when I was at my most vulnerable. After everything I've been through, I realize now that trust isn't something you give easily. It's something you earn, and she just threw it away. I learned a lot from this experience. About myself, about relationships, about how easily people can hide their true nature behind a facade. I used to believe in fairy tale love, in the idea that people are inherently good. But now I see that some people are just good at hiding their darkness. I'm not bitter about the sex or the lies anymore. I'm bitter about how she made me feel like I was crazy for suspecting her, how she spun her web of lies to keep me in the dark. That kind of betrayal cuts deeper than I ever imagined, and I don't think I'll ever fully recover from it. But here's the strange part. Some part of me is grateful. Grateful that I found out the truth before I committed more of my heart to someone who clearly wasn't capable of being honest. I'm learning to forgive myself for trusting her blindly, and I'm slowly rediscovering who I am outside of that relationship. I've started working out again, reconnecting with friends, and even dating casually. It's a slow process, but I know I'll get there. I have to. Because I deserve someone who respects me, who values honesty, and who doesn't lie just to cover their own ass. To anyone who might be going through something similar, just know the pain doesn't last forever. It feels like it does now, but time does heal wounds. Trust is fragile, and once broken, it's almost impossible to fully mend, but you can rebuild yourself stronger than before. Don't ever stay in a relationship where you're not respected or loved the way you should be. And don't ignore the signs, those little things that seem insignificant at the time but add up to something much bigger. I still catch myself thinking about what could have been, about the good times before everything fell apart. But then I remember her sneer, her lies, her betrayal, and I realize I need to focus on what's ahead. I still have scars, but I'm learning to live with them. I've come to accept that some things are just broken beyond repair, and that's okay. The key now is moving forward, rebuilding my trust in myself, and reminding myself that I'm worth more than someone who can lie so effortlessly and cheat so blatantly. This story is not just about betrayal, it's about survival and finding strength in the aftermath. I hope my experience can serve as a reminder. Trust is earned, and if someone shows you who they really are, believe them. Because once the truth comes out, there's no going back.